A Midsummer Night's Dream is one of Shakespeare's biggest comedies, and it tells the well-known story of Puck, a wood nymph serving his, or her in our case, fairy lord Oberon, and meddling with both magical and mortal relationships, mainly within the majestic wood outside of Athens. Long story really short, Lysander is in love with Hermia. Hermia is also in love with Lysander. However, Hermia's friend Helena, she's in love with this guy Demetrius. Demetrius, sadly, is in love with Hermia. Yay, love triangles. So Aegis, Hermia's father, goes to the Duke of Athens and tries to force Hermia to marry Demetrius instead of Lysander. Angry at this proposal, Lysander and Hermia flee off to the woods, hoping to get married at Lysander's aunt's house. Terrible idea. Helena and Demetrius decide to follow, Helena after Demetrius and Demetrius after Hermia. So Oberon, mad at his fairy queen Titania, decides to have Puck fetch him a magical flower that will make the user fall in love with the first person they see. This inevitably causes Titania, the fairy queen, to fall in love with one of the actors, Bottom. With some magic and trickery, Bottom's head turns into that of a donkey. So Titania straight away loves an ass. That would be the one scaring everyone away right now. Yeehaw. Yeehaw. This scene here shows the magical flower we were talking about. Cupid's purple flower, which Puck magically gets, yay more magic, for Oberon. This leads to more trickery, debauchery, and tomfoolery, and causes both Lysander and Demetrius to fall in love with Helena, leaving Hermia unwanted and the mortal couples in total distress. She just threw the guy to the ground. And Demetrius is coming on a little high-strung, no? This next scene was used to really exemplify just how effective our set really was. Our set was very organic. It used depth of upstage and downstage, plus the levels of our rock sides, to show that this was truly a fairy playground, and very old, majestic, and magical in its own sense. All of our set pieces were able to be interacted with, from the pagoda in the center that acted as the holy shrine, to the rock pieces both stage left and right, and even the rock set, which was featured downstage right. The hours that the technique countlessly put into this really came to life on stage. Here in Act 3, we start to see the climax of the show as the couples confront each other. Hermia and Helena, two best friends, really start to get into it because both males are in love with Helena due to the magic flower. Oberon, watching this from afar with Puck, is angry at Puck for mixing up the Athenians that were supposed to be falling in love. Oberon originally wanted Demetrius to fall in love with Helena, and Hermia and Lysander's love to be left alone. So, Oberon makes Puck go and fix the situation. Through some hilarious zombified magic, Puck's able to cure the lovers and make everyone in love with who they were supposed to be. Back in Athens, we see the actors still working on their piece, made to do so and get ready for Theseus's wedding day, the Duke, or else face death. Working tirelessly, their best actor Bottom returns after being transformed into a hideous donkey. But all in all, A Midsummer Night's Dream is a comedy focused on the hilarity behind the idea of love at first sight, with the truth resting in the conclusion that love works itself out regardless of what you do to tamper it. And those who are meant to be together are together in the end. Demetrius and Helena, Lysander, and Hermia, and even the Duke and his bride. We also see in the conclusion that the two fairy rulers, both Oberon the fairy king and Titania the fairy queen, live happily ever after. How sweet. This wonderful love story takes place on a single midsummer night in the woods just outside of Athens. This scene here is a great example of the use of blocking to create a dynamic scene. We have our fairies and all the action that's going on stage left, but we also have our actors from a previous scene put stage right. It really keeps the multiple plot lines connected together. I wanted to show this clip as an example of the organization that goes into something just as simple as bows. We spent about 30 minutes on this to make sure that the timing was right and everything was efficient. And still, with live theater, you never know what's going to happen. However, with this group of actors, we really had a very strong cast and crew that really helped pull things off. Through all three performances, we were able to show a total of over 250 audience members, our original take on A Midsummer Night's Dream. Lighting was extremely important throughout the show. Backlights on the curtains were the first time you could really tell that they were there, but they were used throughout the entirety. Gobos stage left and stage right gave the forest feel, and we also used general projections from the trees above to light the entire stage. Here is one of our few dances that were done throughout the show. We wanted to give a comedic feel throughout the entirety of the performance, so we tried to make our dances as playful and fun as possible. It was very informal, and both our lead fairy and our man fairy were a great laugh for the audience, especially when Manny, the man fairy, decided to wear a bra. We used the wedding prep scene to show the pageantry of both a Greek wedding and a fairy wedding, but this scene here is used to show some of our special effects, like our drop curtain. Though countless hours went into creating that, a few mere seconds brought on a whole lot of excitement for the audience. At the end of the show, you have to do something called strike, where your entire set is taken down, packed into a truck, and brought to the warehouse. These strikes can usually take hours, and even though we were efficient and had a plan on what we were going to do, with most of our actors working, it still took about 4 to 5 hours to get everything out into the shop and loaded back up. I wanted to show this video to give the tech team some appreciation. People often only get to see the performance side of things. They don't realize how much work really goes into building the sets, designing the lights, and making sure all the props and costume and makeup gets there. The actors do their part, the crew does their part, and everyone works together to create an amazing performance. But all good things must come to an end. I remember walking around the stage that night, and at first I thought all of our hard work was walking out the door. But then I realized everything we put in will stay with us and the audience that we presented it to for as long as we can remember.